You want to know the craziest stat you'll ever hear? Since graduating from high school, Sauce Gardner has given up 1 touchdown. That's not 1 touchdown this year, it's for his entire career. When he's on the field, half of it doesn't exist. Yet somehow this lockdown machine just got traded mid-season. Now he's in Indianapolis, where a legit contender may have just found its missing piece. Even greatness can outgrow the wrong team, but can a gritty kid from Detroit streets cash more than a paycheck and turn his Cinderella story into a championship run in Indy?
They hardly threw at him.
Throws, and it is intercepted!
Yeah!
Ahmad Gardner with a pick 6!
He's really going at me today.
Well, I need to.
Hey.
Why Town is the best player on the team?
In July, they signed Sauce Gardner to the highest contract ever for a cornerback, and they traded him.
It was hands down the biggest trade of the 2025 season, and no one saw it coming. Sauce Gardner, the highest paid cornerback in the NFL, was headed to a contender in Indianapolis. You heard that right, not Kansas City, not Philadelphia, not San Francisco, Indianapolis. A city that hasn't hoisted the Lombardi Trophy since Peyton Manning's prime. A team that the rest of the league was slowly gaining respect for, but no one feared until now. For the Colts, coming off a Week 9 loss to Pittsburgh, it wasn't panic, it was a message. They weren't fading, they were doubling down. This was already one of the league's most complete rosters, with Daniel Jones, the quarterback that everyone has counted out, playing the best football of his career, and Jonathan Taylor, the league's leading rusher, setting the tone every Sunday. 2 veterans leading with calm and violence in equal measure. But to win in January, to get through the gauntlet of Mahomes, Allen, and healthy Lamar Jackson, you need a closer, someone who erases opponents' hopes one route at a time. That's Sauce Gardner, a living lockbox built on discipline, film study, and zero wasted motion. And now he's here wearing speed blue.
We're excited to have Sauce and excited to continue to build this thing.
You get a guy like that able to walk into your building mid-year, healthy and ready to go, it's definitely a huge positive.
It's all about the sauce.
It's funny how fate works, isn't it? 2 players left for dead in New York are now defining the rebirth of a franchise that was a punchline last season. Jones and Gardner, both scarred, both doubted, and both done being polite about it. It's going to be fun to watch them down the stretch, because the Colts look like a team ready to hunt now, not just survive. Because energy builds fast inside a locker room, and Sauce Gardner fuels it as well as anyone. He has been the face of swagger since his insane college career in Cincinnati, which we'll get into more in a moment, and it's gonna blow your mind. But this version, it's even sharper, and every bit of that has been hard-earned. It's not about headlines or contracts anymore, it's about proving that greatness doesn't die when you change uniforms, sometimes it just changes colors. So as the cameras flash and the Colts defense heads into the second half of 2025 with a lethal new weapon, one thing feels inevitable. They're not just playing for wins, they're playing for redemption, and if you still think the sauce has cooled off, stay tuned, because this kid's story is just heating up. Now, before the lights, before the money, and before the name, there was Detroit. Not the glossy downtown skyline, the other side of the tracks, 7 Mile Road, a place where you learned early that dreams had expiration dates. Ahmad Gardner didn't have the size, spotlight, or safety net. What he had was a superstar mom who refused to let him quit. So he promised her 2 things. He'd never drink or smoke, and he'd make it to the NFL. Simple and unrealistic, but to young Ahmad, that vow was unbreakable. Now, if you're wondering why it was unrealistic, it's because back then he was 5'8", $120, and trying to tackle kids twice his weight.
He's competing. I mean, he has good ball skills, but he's not that fast. He looks like Bambi because he's really skinny, but it's like you see something, but it's like, it ain't really developed yet.
So every night, he prayed for a growth spurt, and one day, it came. He hit 6 feet, started running camps, and begged his mom to scrape together money for the entry fees. She gave him her last dollar because hope was all they had. That's the thing about Detroit. It doesn't just breed superstars, it breeds survivors. And Ahmad wasn't chasing fame, he was chasing daylight. Any path out of the vicious cycle he was born into. Every rep, drill, and prayer was a way to pay his mom back. By the time recruiters started to notice, he wasn't just another late bloomer, he was something else entirely. He was still skinny, still overlooked, but unshakable. When the University of Cincinnati called, it was more than a dream coming true, it was a promise being kept. And from that moment, the world would never call him Ahmad again. Back home, friends and family knew him as Sauce, short for A1 Sauce Sweet Feet Gardner, the nickname given to him by his youth football coach.
That name came from me playing Little League football when I was about 6 years old. One of my Little League coaches gave me the nickname.
It actually was A1 sauce, Sweet Feet Gardner.
But everyone just called him Sauce, and soon the rest of the country would too. And if you're loving this deep dive into 2025's blockbuster trade of the season, hit that like and subscribe to make sure you don't miss out on more player profiles just like this one. At Cincinnati, belief met opportunity, eventually, but not immediately. Because when he showed up on campus, coaches didn't see a star, they saw a twig with long arms and confidence that didn't make sense. One coach even speculated that he'd need 2 years before he could contribute. Sauce heard that and circled it in his head like a target. Then came UCF, a Saturday afternoon that turned into a coronation. Cincinnati's corners were gassed, rotations were breaking down, and the staff finally threw the skinny freshman into the fire. And on his first play in college, the world got to see how you earned the nickname Sweet Feet.
Throws, and it is intercepted. Ahmad Gardner with a pick six.
The crowd erupted as the sideline lost its mind. It was as electric a debut as you can have, and it left one coach grinning like he'd seen a ghost. You're Sauce now. From that day forward, the nickname was more than a label, it was a declaration. Sauce wasn't just swagger, it was armor. It meant no fear, no hesitation, no doubt. And for 3 straight seasons, nobody scored on him, not once.
And it's picked off! That's Gardner! Gardner to the 10!
He played over 1,000 coverage snaps at Cincinnati and never gave up a touchdown. That's not hype, that's historic. And it was a premonition of things to come, but that didn't stop the haters from hating. Critics said the competition in America wasn't elite, that Sauce couldn't do it against the big boys. So when UC became the first group of 5 team to make the college football playoffs and Alabama lined up across from him, everyone waited for the collapse. It never came. Jamison Williams, the monster who led the SEC with 1,572 receiving yards in 2021, barely saw the ball. Sauce gave up 14 yards total. Just another day at work. That game changed everything. The kid from Detroit had locked up the best in the country and smiled while doing it. By April, he wasn't the underdog anymore, he was the prize.
Heard the stats about him not giving up a touchdown, and you turn on the tape, you see the length, you see the speed.
Draft night, Las Vegas, 4th overall pick.
With the 4th pick, the New York Jets select Sauce Gardner.
The highest a Cincinnati player had ever gone. And in that moment, when his mom cried and the cameras closed in, he didn't flex, he didn't shout, he just exhaled. Because the promise was complete. Though the story was only getting started. The bright lights hit hard in the Big Apple. New York doesn't welcome rookies, it tests them. And Sauce Gardner passed on day 1. By week 5, quarterbacks were already throwing to the other side, and by week 10, he was an all-pro. By season's end, he was Defensive Rookie of the Year, the first corner in 40 years to do it.
And the Defensive Rookie of the Year award goes to
Sauce Gardner.
He didn't just survive New York, he owned it. Year 2 only built the legend. Another All-Pro nod, another Pro Bowl, no sophomore slump, no debate about who the league's best corner was. But in 2024, everything around him cracked. A new coaching staff brought schemes, and none of them fit. Rodgers was finally back from the Achilles injuries, but the offense never found rhythm.
Rodgers blitzed again. He'll fire over the middle. Intercepted!
Too many hits, too many turnovers, and too little time. The defense was elite, but it was exhausted. By midseason, frustration leaked from every corner of the locker room, and for the first time since he entered the league, Sauce looked human. Now, make no mistake about it, he's still top 5 at his position, but who wouldn't get worn down by everything happening around him? Every penalty became a headline, every missed tackle was a meme, so Sauce tuned out the noise, deleted the apps, and focused on tape. Because even in chaos, Gardner's floor was higher than most players' ceilings. 1 touchdown allowed and fewer than 400 yards given up, numbers that would define anyone else's prime, and he called it a down year. Then, the trade came. November 4th, 2025. The Jets sent their franchise player to Indianapolis. For Sauce, it wasn't the end of something, it was a release. He'd spent 3 years carrying a broken team. Now he was walking into one that actually believed.
I did not see this one coming. We constantly hear that maybe there's going to be some shuffling around, but this one I was a little surprised by. In a good way, in a very good way.
Yes, in a good way, yeah.
The trade hit like a thunderclap. Sauce Gardner, 25 years old, 2-time All-Pro, and one of the most feared corners in football, was now an Indianapolis Colt. But it came at a price. Colts wide receiver Adonai Mitchell and 2 first-round draft picks. For the one-win Jets, it gave them an absolute war chest to work from for the next 2 years. 3 first-round picks in 2026 and 2 in 2027. That's massive for the future of a franchise with nowhere to go but up. For the Colts, Colts, it may look like a gamble, but it was the front office planting a flag and making a statement.
First off, they're a team that plays mostly zone, or majority of zone, and that's what Sauce Gardner's really good at. And I think that's why, I'm like you, I'm shocked too.
Yeah.
The Colts are serious about winning now. A franchise already sitting atop the AFC just added the best shutdown corner of his generation. A team that played disciplined, physical football, just injected attitude and edge. Because Sauce doesn't just cover receivers, he erases them from an opponent's game plan. He literally changes the math when he's on the field. When quarterbacks look to his side, the field shrinks. Playbooks simplify and confidence fades. That's what Indy just bought. Absolute control. And it's not just about interceptions or stats, it's the ripple effect. His coverage lets linebackers play faster. Safeties take smarter angles. Pass rushers get that extra half second that turns a pressure into a sack. One player dictating tempo for 11. And this defense was already good, but now it has identity, swagger, precision, and the kind of confidence that travels in January. Meanwhile, Daniel Jones is playing the best football of his career. He's efficient, composed, and finally surrounded by structure. He doesn't need to throw for 400 yards a game anymore because with Sauce Gardner patrolling the boundary, the Colts defense can suffocate teams until the offense finishes them off. New York saw 2 cast-offs. Indianapolis saw cornerstones. Now, the Colts aren't just trying to make the playoffs, they're trying to shift the power balance of the AFC, and with Gardner locking down half the field, that balance just tilted. Some trades are about need, but this one was about slamming the gas pedal to the floor. For years, the Colts had been solid, talented, and sporadically competitive, but not built to finish. Sauce Gardner changes that. And make no mistake, he's not there to be a patch, he's a pillar. The kind of player who changes the geometry of football games. Any quarterback that looks his way has to think twice. Any coordinator scheming against him has to rewrite half the playbook. That's how rare he is. His shadow stretches beyond the stat sheet. Sauce is only 25, already the highest paid corner in the league, and still hasn't hit his ceiling despite what the uninformed call a down year. 2 All-Pro nods, a Pro Bowl resume, and game tape that backs up every bit of the hype. And now he's the centerpiece of a defense that believes it can carry a city. The resurgence of Daniel Jones gives the Colts balance, but Sauce gives them identity, and he could quickly become the heartbeat of a unit that suddenly feels like a top 10 roster. The kind of defense that wins ugly games, like the Week 9 loss to the Steelers. For Gardner, this isn't just a new chapter, it's the test that defines his legend. Can the kid who turned promise into proof now turn proof into rings? The Colts believe he can, because every great team has a moment where it stops being hopeful and starts being dangerous. This feels like that moment. From Detroit's grit to Indy's dome, from a promise to a purpose, Sauce Gardner didn't come here to blend in, he came to finish the story. And if he does, the city of Indianapolis might finally get what it's been waiting for since Manning left. A reason to keep showing up for January games again. Every NFL season has a story that feels bigger than football. This one might be it. A reborn team, a redeemed quarterback, and a corner who makes dominance look effortless. So let us know what you think. Is Sauce enough to put this team over the top in 2025, or are Colts fans in store for another winter heartbreak this season? If you've been watching the Colts quietly turn into a powerhouse, stay locked in because this is just getting started. Oh, and make sure you're subscribed to Snap Count, where we don't just cover the game, we tell the stories that make you believe in it.